Hi everybody, it's Debbie here and welcome back to my crafty den. I am doing a Thrifted Thursday project. I am going to fix up this tray that I bought at the thrift warehouse and I showed it in my haul last Friday. So these Thrifted Thursday videos are going to be where I take a piece that I showed that I thrifted from the haul on the previous hauls. And I am going to show you why I bought it and what my idea was and how I clean it up, fix it up, repurpose it, or whatever. So this week's project is very simple. I bought for $2 this tray. It's a lap tray. Yeah. Now, I could keep it as a lap tray. I've thought of keeping it as a lap tray because it would be handy when I'm using my computer on my lap. But there's bits falling out. See these little foam balls? That's what's in it. So the first thing I'm going to do with this project is take my garbage bag. I'm going to set the tray in my garbage bag and take my scissors. I don't want this stuff all over my house. So I am going to very carefully cut away at a corner and then try to empty this stuff out into the garbage bag. So I'll be back when I've got the biggest part of this. I mean, it's coming out of there pretty good. Look at that. So hopefully I can get the biggest part of this to stay in the garbage bag. And then I'll be able to remove the fabric from the bottom of this tray. So I will be right back. Okay, so that mouse is cleaned up and I've got my paint out. I took a damp cloth and wiped this down, and the bottom is nice and clear as well. See, so oh, there's a little bit of thread still there. I'll have to cut that off with the scissors. Oh, maybe pull it off. So I'm going to give this a coat of chalk paint in the color Boathouse. This is the most gorgeous blue. I absolutely love it. It's like an antique blue, almost a, not quite a robin's egg blue, but I am going to, this is what I love about chalk paint. Look at how well that covers. So I am going to give this a really good coat, not thick, but all over. I'm going to put my paintbrush down there to work that in a little bit. So a nice coat of this. I'll do the bottom first. Now it doesn't matter which way you go with this brush. You can go around in circles. You can go back and forth. These are really awesome brushes. They do everything you need them to do. Kind of easy to just go around like this when you're doing a large surface. And your brush strokes go in a million different directions then too, so they're not really as noticeable. I like that. So this is going to take 2 coats. And I'm going, that's all I'm going to do to you know, update this tray. I'm going to give it 2 coats of this really pretty blue paint, and then I'm going to set a little display up. Now this will be great for displaying a few of my Rae Dunn cups and maybe a floral arrangement or a little plate and some cookies, or this is not quite even, I'm noticing. It doesn't take much to level it out though, so once I get everything on it, hopefully it won't rock back and forth like that. That's one thing about buying this as a lap tray. I couldn't tell that this wasn't level. So I'm going to get all this top part covered. And then I'm going to do a second coat on it. So back and forth and all around. I'm still losing a few little hairs on this brush. I have found that with every natural brush that I've ever bought, anything with natural bristles, the little hairs come out. But they're still the best paintbrushes to me anyway. So, I guess I better get in this handle. I'm going to let this dry, put another coat on it. And then this is a quick little upgrade. So you could take any little wood piece that you find at the thrift store and kind of bring it up to date. I love this blue color. It's very farmhouse to me, and it goes well with the faded kind of colors that I have in my house. Yeah, so I'm just loving it. And I'll be back when I'm done painting this, because you don't want to sit and watch me paint this, you know, twice and tip it over and paint the, I think I'm going to give the sides at the bottom one paint, but I don't think I'm going to, one coat, but I don't think I'm going to paint the bottom of it because it doesn't need to be painted on the bottom. And I may see if I can find some little rubber legs or something like that at the hardware store to put on this. But other than that, I'm not going to do anything else to this tray. I'm just going to give it a coat of paint, a coat of wax to protect it, and I will, I'll be done with it. So yeah, I'll be back. So this has dried for a couple of hours. I have my beeswax and my little cloth. I am going to, this wax is very, very hard, and it's quite cool in here today, so I may have to work this a bit to get it on here. So all I'm doing is just in a circular motion, putting on a nice thin, it doesn't have to be thick, just a nice thin layer of wax, and this will help protect the surface. I'm just using a little chunk of old t-shirt. And when this is dry, I'll just go over it with a dry rag and I'll buff it a little bit, and it'll have a little bit of a sheen, but not much. Beeswax isn't really shiny, but it's perfect for this kind of an application. It's just amazing. So this is the Bluestone House French Country Vintage Beeswax, and it's a furniture polish. And it's made specifically for coating over top of the chalky paint. You can't even see where you've gone unless you hold it like a little bit of an angle to the light. So I'm going to, and this is how I put it on. If you have a waxing brush, you can get some on your brush and just go around in circles the same way as you do with the rag. Very easy to do. Oops, it's a little bit too much. I don't want it that thick. Make sure I haven't missed any spots. I'm just holding it up to the light and turning it. When you're going around in circles like that, it actually is quite easy to miss a spot. And then I'm going to make sure that I put it all along the edges too. So when I get this done, I am just going to give it a light buffing. And you don't even have to wait for the wax to completely dry for that. You just let it dry a bit. And this tray will be done. And it looks 100% better than it did when I picked it up from the thrift shop. It's actually very pretty. And that old country print that was on here is gone, and now it's a little bit farmhouse chic. So, yeah, I'm loving this. Absolutely loving this, and I do love this color. I'm so glad I picked that up. I can see me doing a ton of stuff with this boathouse blue chalk paint. I think that this is going to be the color that goes on the inside of my china cabinet when I redo it. I've been trying to come up with color for the inside of my china cabinet. I know I want the outside to be white. I guess I missed a little bit of paint here, but that's okay. I did put the second coat on around the outside. You don't see it very much, but I thought it would give it that little bit of weathered look. Look at this. Look at this. So I'm okay with that. You know what? The other thing about chalk paint is that even if you've waxed a piece and you've used it for a while and you want to change the color, all you have to do is give it a good wash and re-chalk paint it. Chalk paint will stick to just about anything. I've done a whole project and then not liked it, the color after it was done, and gone back and repainted the whole thing. So I think that's got a good coating everywhere. I am going to let this dry for 10 minutes, buff it, and then I'm going to come back and style it, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with it, at least for this month. So while I'm waiting for that to dry, for my tray to dry, I have decided that I'm going to give this a shake. I've got two little Starbucks, you know, that you just get at the variety store, those little cold Starbucks drinks. I've got two of these bottles, and I like them because they look like a little small-sized milk bottle. And I'm thinking they'll be perfect for what I want them to be, which is just a bud vase. So I'm going to give these a couple of coats of my chalk paint. So this is just a side project with the tray. I want to use these to style the tray, or to help style the tray. And something that I don't have is bud vases. Years and years ago I used to have them, and I have no idea where they went to, what happened to them. But I remember I had a few of the little milk glass bud vases. Now, milk glass is very country, very cheap. It's not worth anything, you know, as an antique or anything like that. But it's a dime a dozen at thrift stores. So if you see the very common, if you're going for a farmhouse or country cottage theme, in your decor, jadeite, you know, the green glass, and I just saw the Daily DIYer do a video on how to create your own milk glass or your own jadeite to make it look, or glass to make it look like jadeite. It's not really jadeite, but yeah. So all those things that are really popular, that there's a lot of, and you know, the common stuff that you can get really cheap at, jadeite's not that cheap, but the stuff that you can get really cheap at thrift stores and restores and the Salvation Army, any place like that, pick it up, because you can get it for $1 or $2, and you could use it for your decor, for styling trays, for countertop displays, anything like that. So that's all I'm doing, is just giving these a coat of this chalky paint, just because I don't want to use them as clear glass. And this is a kind of a off-white, very creamy color. It is called Grain Sack, and this is the Bluestone House chalk paint. I'm loving this chalk paint. It's pricey, but you use such a little bit, and I'll only ever have, you know, maybe 3-4 colors of this at the most, because all I'll get is the colors that will blend in with my decor. So last thing I'm going to do is go around the top of this one, and then these will be done. These aren't even going to need a second coat, because this will be absolutely fine. And that'll be good. That's all I'm going to do with those. Maybe I'll put a little bit of paint around this top rim, because it's on the brush already. There. Yeah, very good. So that's done. So I just have to wait for those to dry. I'm not even going to bother waxing them. They're not going to get handled. They're not going to be, you know, they probably won't be a permanent thing anyway. But I think they're going to look really pretty on that blue tray. So here's my little tray. I think I'm going to put it in on my coffee table. I'm not sure yet, but I think that's where it's going to go just for until Easter's over. It's just on my coffee table. And I put some of the Dollar Tree eggs with the Excelsior in that little garden dish for now, because later I want to turn this into a really small tabletop fairy garden. And I put one of the succulents in. That's the little tiny bird cup in egg cup that I hauled from the thrift store. I hauled 3 in a package. So I just put that little succulent right in there and added a little bunny to the tray. And there is the vase with the 2 florals, just of last year's florals from Dollar Tree. And I think it looks cute. It's a nice little addition to my coffee table for Easter. And like I've said before, I don't decorate a ton for Easter, but just a few little elements around the house is all I like. So that's it. That's my Thrifted Thursday. And so you've gotten 3 thrifted things, I guess, really, because I thrifted the little egg cup, the tray, and this is thrifted in the fact that it would have normally been garbage had I just thrown it out. So yeah, you can just thrift things out of your own house. If you like this video and you'd like to see more Thrifted Thursdays, give it a thumbs up, comment, and let me know what you think of it. And by all means, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Bye-bye for now, everybody, and have a good day.